Good morning students, this is your history lesson. In this lesson we are going to start chapter 3, the Indus Valley Civilization. So we start our lesson. Students, the Indus Valley Civilization was a Bronze Age civilization in the northwestern regions of South Asia, lasting from 3300 BCE to 1300 BCE and in its mature form from 2600 BC to 1900 BCE. Together with ancient Egypt and Mesopotamia, it was one of three early civilizations of the Near East and South Asia, and of the three, the most widespread. Its sites spanning an area stretching from northeast Afghanistan through much of Pakistan and into western and northwestern India. It flourished in the basins of the Indus River, which flows through the length of Pakistan and along a system of perennial, mostly monsoon-fed rivers that once coursed in the vicinity of the seasonal. The civilization's cities were noted for their urban planning, baked brick houses, elaborate drainage systems, water supply systems, clusters of large non-residential buildings, and new techniques in handicrafts. The large cities of Mohenjo-daro and Harappa very likely grew to contain between 30,000 and 60,000 individuals. Now come to page number 11. We start reading together. Nearly 5,000 years ago, an ancient civilization existed on the banks of the river Indus in what is present-day Pakistan. This old and rich civilization is known today as the Indus Valley Civilization. Sometimes it is also called the Harappa Civilization, as archaeologists in the 1920s found the remains of two large cities, Harappa in the Sahiwal district of Punjab and Mohenjo-daro in Sindh. Since then, 2,300 sites of Harappan culture have been found in areas to the east and north of the river Indus. Another site discovered recently is Mahargarh in Balochistan, dating back to 7000 to 5500 BCE. It is even older than Mohenjo-daro and Harappa. Dear students, the civilization was first identified in 1921 at Harappa in the Punjab region, and then in 1922 at Mohenjo-daro near the Indus River in the Sindh region. Both sites are in present-day Pakistan in Punjab and Sindh provinces, respectively. The ruins of Mohenjo-daro were designated a UNESCO World Heritage Site in 1980. The ruins of Mohenjo-daro were designated a UNESCO World Heritage Site in 1980. Now come to second paragraph. The Indus Valley Civilization flourished along the banks of the river Indus, mainly between c. 2600 and 1300 BCE. The river Indus starts from the mountains to the north of modern-day Pakistan and then finds its way down south to flow into the Arabian Sea. The river provided transport and water and fertile soil for crops. The rich soil of the river made agriculture easier by giving high yield crops. This feature was not uncommon because other civilizations had sprung up around rivers such as the Nile in Egypt, Tigris in Euphrates in Mesopotamia, Tigris and Euphrates in Mesopotamia, and the Yangtze River in China. So students, the Indus Valley Civilization is the earliest known culture of the Indian subcontinent of the kind now called urban, and the largest of the four ancient civilizations, which also included Egypt, Mesopotamia and China. The society of the Indus River Valley has been dated from the Bronze Age, the time period from approximately 3300 to 1300 BCE, and it was located in modern day India and Pakistan and covered an area as large as Western Europe. A river valley civilization is an agricultural nation or civilization situated beside and drawing sustenance from a river. So a river gives the inhabitants a reliable source of water for drinking and agriculture. Additional benefits including fishing, fertile soil due to annual flooding, and ease of transportation. The first great civilizations such as those in Mesopotamia, Harappa and ancient Egypt all grew up in river valleys. As Mesopotamia civilization flourished near Tigris River and civilization of Egypt flourished near river Nile. Similarly, this Indus Valley civilization flourished along the bank of the river Indus. Harappan civilization. Mohenjo-daro and Harappa were once the centers of this ancient civilization. Knowledge about this civilization comes from the work of archaeologists who discovered these sites and the buildings, tools, artifacts, man-made objects, jewelry and sculptures found there and studied them in detail. Among these, the use of bronze, copper and quartz, hard mineral, for casting vessels, a container, statuettes, a small statue, and making a variety of knives, fish hooks, arrowheads, saws, chisel, a long-bladed hand tool, pins, and bangles, shows the cultural advancement of the Indus people. By these finds, we come to know the details of their diet, waste, disposal, and housing. So students, the Indus River Valley Civilization, also known as Harappan Civilization, developed the first accurate system of standardized weights, measure, and other things. Harappas created sculpture, seals, pottery, and jewelry from materials such as terracotta, metal, and stone. The Indus Valley people were highly skilled agriculturists. They used irrigation techniques and had large granaries or storehouses to store the surplus of crops gathered from the surrounding areas. Cotton was grown as a crop and it led to the spinning and weaving of cotton, in which the Indus Valley people again seem to be the world's pioneers, the very first people to do something new. So, The Indus people used the irrigation system to irrigate the crops. It allowed them to produce crops as per the needs of people by neglecting the old traditional nomadic ways and using modern techniques to satisfy the city requirement. Agriculture was so important to the Indus people. Trading and agriculture was the only two modes of survival. Those who could not trade made themselves for farming and agriculture. It was one of the prime reasons why the Indus Valley civilization was successfully surviving for a long time. Agriculture in the Indus Valley was solely dependent on good quality soil and advancements in farming techniques. Major crops produced were wheat, barley, peas, lentils, linseed, and mustard seeds were sown in winter, whereas millet, sesame, and rice were grown in summer. Cotton was also a very important crop at this time. They excelled in the spinning and weaving of cotton, and they introduced this technique for the very first time in history. In this way, they were the world's pioneers. Students, here is a topic: city dwellers and master urban planners. Who were city dwellers and master urban planners? The Indus Valley civilization was an ancient civilization along the lower Indus River. Another name for this civilization is the Harappan civilization of the Indus Valley, in the reference to its first excavated city of Harappa. So we will read about Harappans. The Harappans built big cities entirely with bricks, which were sun-baked and kiln-fired. Kiln-fired, a large oven for baking bricks and pottery. So, students, town planning is the unique feature of Indus Valley civilization. Their town planning proves that they lived a highly civilized and developed life. Indus people were the first to build planned cities with a scientific drainage system. The Indus cities were built on an uniform plan. The streets were paved and wide with well-lit, brick-lined sewerage ducts underneath. Ducts, a tube or passageway in a building or machine for air, liquid, cables, etc. So, the streets were straight and cut each other at right angles. They were 13 to 34 feet wide and were well lined. The streets and roads divided the city into rectangular blocks. And what about drainage system? One of the most remarkable features of the Indus Valley civilization is that the city was provided with an excellent closed drainage system. Each house had its own drainage and soak pit, which was connected to the public drainage. Brick-lit channels flowed through every street. They were covered and had manholes at intervals for cleaning and clearing purposes. Toy carts in terracotta and bronze and ox drawn wagons testify that wheeled transport was used. So students, many small carts made of clay have been found at Indus Valley sites. Archaeologists believe that they were probably toys for children. And since no full-sized carts have ever been found, these small toys give us an idea of what real carts might have looked like in an Indus Valley town. And this is a wheel from a toy cart found at Mohenjo-daro. You can see the picture. Examples of public works on a large scale are found in the Great Bath at Mohenjo-daro, which is like a medium-sized swimming pool with steps going down at each end and carefully sealed with bitumen. So students, what is Great Bath? The Great Bath is one of the best known remarkable structures among the ruins of the ancient Indus Valley Civilization. This is the earliest public water tank in the ancient world, which indicates that it was used for holding water. Many scholars have suggested that this huge deep bath could have been a place of ritual bathing or religious ceremonies. And what is bitumen? Bitumen, a black sticky substance such as tar used for making roads and roofs. So students, what is the most striking feature in Mohenjo-daro? The most striking feature in Mohenjo-daro is the Great Bath. It consists of a large quadrangle. In the center, there is a huge swimming pool, approximately 39 feet long, 23 feet wide, and 8 feet deep, with the remains of galleries and rooms on all four sides. It has a flight of steps at either end and is fed by a well situated in one of the adjoining rooms. So the most striking feature in Mohenjo-daro is the Great Bath. The two-story houses had a public water supply. The cities were divided into residential and official areas and are examples of excellent urban planning. John Key, a British historian, says clearly Harappan settlements were not just India's first cities and townships, but its first, indeed the world's first planned cities and townships. So students, people of Indus Valley Civilization built houses and other buildings by the side of roads. They built terraced houses of burnt bricks. Every house had 2 or more rooms. There were also more than one storied houses. The houses were designed around an inner courtyard and contained pillared halls, bathrooms, paved floors, kitchen, well, etc. By 2600 BCE, the Indus Valley Civilization covered the largest geographical area ever, as numerous sites, great in number, places have been discovered since the excavations began. Excavation. In archaeology, excavation is the exposure, processing, and recording of archaeological remains. So, by 2600 BCE, the Indus Valley Civilization covered a large geographical area where such processing and exposition and recording had been discovered. Many things and many historical things about this city were discovered. These sites were found in Khyber Pakhtunkhwa, further north near the Ox River, in Afghanistan, near the Iranian frontier with Balochistan, and along the Makran coast. Fort Dirawar on the desert frontier with India, Jammu, and in India at Gujarat, Rajasthan, and in the states of Punjab, Haryana, and Uttar Pradesh. So students, these are the places, these are the sites where the ancient civilization, the remains of Indus civilization have been discovered. And these sites are Khyber Pakhtunkhwa, which is capital, which is the province of Pakistan. Further north near the Ox River in Afghanistan, along this river, which is situated near Afghanistan, near the Iranian frontier with Balochistan, and along the Makran coast. Another site is discovered along the Makran coast, that is also the part of Pakistan. Fort Dirawar on the desert frontier with India, that desert is located with India. Jammu is occupied state, and in India at Gujarat. In India there is a place in Gujarat, Rajasthan, and in the states of Punjab, Haryana, and Uttar Pradesh. So these are famous and important sites as according to the remains of ancient civilization. Students, Indus Valley Civilization produced a lot of artifacts and art forms. Indus Valley art form emerged during the second half of the 3rd millennium BCE. Thousands of seals have been discovered by archaeologists from the Harappan sites. Most of the seals were made of statite, which is a kind of soft stone. A few of them were also made of terracotta, gold, agate, chariot, ivory, and fans. The standard Harappan seal was square in shape with a 2 × 2 dimension. It is believed that the seals were used for commercial purposes. A few seals were also carried as amulets, perhaps as a kind of identity card. All the seals have pictures of animals with something written in a pictographic script, which is yet to be deciphered. Chiefly, the animals represented are tigers, elephants, bulls, bison, goats, and so on. Most of the seals have been written on both sides. Some seals have mathematical images and must have been used for educational purposes. Now come to page number 13 and start reading with me. Seals of the Harappans. That the Indus Valley Civilization sites had a similar culture can be vertified to establish the truth by the amazing uniformity of their measurement systems. The most intriguing finds, arousing one's curiosity or interest. The most interesting findings is, however, are the 1000 seals, which are small, flat, square, and rectangular objects with the pictures of animals such as a humped bull, an elephant, tiger, and the inscriptions or writing on these seals has not been deciphered so far. The writing is not familiar. The archaeologists are unable to find what is written on these seals. These seals are similar to those found in Sumer and show that the Sumerians traded with the Indus Valley people. So these are the same seals as were found in Mesopotamian civilization. Through these seals we can assess that they did trading with the Indus Valley people. John Key says that what is amazing is the similarity in the several hundred Harappan sites discovered after 1947 by Indus Valley archaeologists, who say our overwhelming impression is of cultural uniformity both throughout the several centuries during which the Harappan civilization flourished and over the vast area it occupied. John Key, who is an archaeologist, he said that they discovered a huge area that was occupied by the Indus Valley civilization, and they observed a cultural uniformity there. The cities were planned, their culture was rich, and they had designed each and everything according to their lifestyle. The presence of the bull on the seals tells us that the Indus people were agriculturists and that it was also the sign of one of their gods. Okay, two things are present here. One, that their occupation was agriculture, that they were having the profession of agriculture, because the Indus Valley civilization is located along the Indus River, so their main profession was agriculture. Similarly, the bull is the sign of one of their gods. They worshipped many gods and goddesses, and commercial activity was a good source of income. Commercial, making or intended to make a profit. So they worshipped many gods and goddesses, and commercial activity was a good source of income. There were many commercial activities at that time, and these activities were source of income for that time. The symbol of the unicorn may have been used for the rich class of people. Another symbol has been discovered on these seals, and it is sign for the rich class of people. Now come to the end of the Indus Valley civilization. The first is gradual environmental change. The first reason for the end of the Indus Valley civilization is the gradual environmental change, such as a shift in climatic patterns and consequent agricultural disaster, perhaps resulting from excessive environmental stress caused by population growth and over exploitation of resources. First reason is the climate change, the effects of climate. Second, some scholars have some perceptions that more precipitous environmental changes such as tectonic events leading to the flooding of Mohenjo-daro. Second is the environmental changes such as tectonic events leading to the flooding of Mohenjo-daro. Third, it is conceivable that human activities such as invasions of tribes people from the hills to the west of the Indus Valley. Now come to page number 14. We will read together. The civilized people of the Indus Valley seem to have decreased in population around the 2nd millennium BCE. Various reasons are given for this decline, such as the drying up of the Indus basin due to a change in the river course. As I have told you already, the first reason is climate change and the decrease in summer monsoons. This led to a slow deforestation and loss of agriculture. Due to the climate change and low rainfall, it directly affected the agriculture system, so they were destroyed badly due to the loss of agriculture sector. Since 2/3 of the Harappan sites were located in and around the Indus basin, they seem to have been abandoned and the civilization gradually became extinct, no longer existing. So they had to leave that place due to the climate change, flooding, low rainfall. They had to leave that place because they had to meet their basic needs, and it was not possible at that time to meet such necessities of life on this ground. So they had to leave that place. Since there has been no discovery of weapons in the excavations, it shows that the Indus Valley people were not warlike. Okay, if there are no weapons discovered here, so the people were very happy there. They were against war activities, so we can say they dislike war affairs. This may also have been the cause of the decline of the Indus Valley civilization. Important sites of this civilization. Number 1, Harappa was an urban center. It is in Punjab province of Pakistan, located on an old riverbed of River Ravi. Number 2, Mohenjo-daro. Mohenjo-daro is located in Sindh province of Pakistan, which is next to the river Indus. What are the basic features of Indus Valley civilization? We will read key factors about this civilization. The Indus Valley civilization is the first known urban culture in India. The Indus Valley civilization is the first known urban culture in India. Majority of the sites developed on the banks of river Indus. This civilization is credited for building cities complete with town planning. Building cities complete with town planning. Sanitation. drainage system, and broad, well-lit roads. Well-lit roads. They also built double-storied houses of burnt bricks, complete with bathroom, kitchen, and a well. Their walled cities had important buildings such as the Great Bath, granaries, and the assembly halls. Their agriculture was considered major occupation for rural areas, while the city residents were involved in internal and external trade, which led to developed contacts with other civilizations, e.g., Mesopotamia. Harappans were excellent potters, as is evident by their artifacts. Harappans also had technical knowledge of metals and process of alloying, e.g., bronze sculpture of dancing girl found in Mohenjo-daro. Also, shell, ivory, bone, and fines were used as material for different crafts. Harappans used to worship plants, animals, and the forces of nature. They also worshipped male god resembling Lord Shiva of later times and a mother goddess. They also probably believed in life after death and also in charms and spells. Their seals were engraved with animal figures, e.g., humped bull, elephant, and rhinoceros. This suggests that these animals were considered sacred. The image of peepal tree is found depicted on many seals. Harappan script is yet to be deciphered. Hence, our knowledge of Harappan civilization is solely based on archaeological evidence alone. Harappan were the first people to cultivate cotton. They knew the art of spinning and weaving. What happened to the Indus civilization? By 1900 BC, many Indus cities had been abandoned. Historians believe things started to fall apart around 1700 BC. But how did this apparently peaceful, well-organized civilization collapse in just 200 years? Looking at the ruins, we can see many changes. The cities became overcrowded, with houses built on top of houses. Important buildings like the Great Bath at Mohenjo-daro were built over. Great Bath at Mohenjo-daro were built over. People stopped maintaining the drains and they became blocked. Some traders even hid their valuables under the floors of their homes. Many historians believe the Indus civilization collapsed because of changes to the geography and climate of the area. Students, as you know that we have done chapter 3, the Indus Valley Civilization, thoroughly. And I hope you have understood a lot from this chapter. Today we will discuss the glossary used in this chapter. So we start our lesson. Quartz, hard mineral. Vessel, a container. Statuettes, a small statue. Chisels, a long bladed hand tool used for shaping wood and metal. Surplus, excess. Excavations, the act or process of digging. Inscriptions, the words or letters that have been written or carved into something. Overwhelming, very great in amount. Deforestation, clearing wide area of trees. Sites, locations where something is situated. Artifacts, man-made objects from the past. Pioneers, the very first people to do something new. Kiln, a large oven for baking bricks and pottery. Bitumen, a black sticky matter obtained from oil and used to cover roofs and roads. Intriguing, mysterious. Verified, checked for being true and accurate. Commercial, based on trade, task done for earning money. Millennium, a period of 1,000 years. A period of 1,000 years. Become extinct, to no longer exist. Question answers. So we start our lesson. Question 1. Name the two major sites of the Indus Valley Civilization in which provinces of present-day Pakistan are found. Answer. Civilization, as archaeologists in the 1920s found the remains of two large cities, Harappa in the Sahiwal district of Punjab and Mohenjo-daro in Sindh. Question 2. Why were ancient civilizations found along the banks of a river? Name three major rivers around which civilizations grew in ancient times. Answer. The river provided transport and water and fertile soil for crops. The river provided transport and water and fertile soil for crops. The rich soil of the river made agriculture easier by giving high yield crops. Three major rivers around which civilizations grew were: number 1, Nile in Egypt; 2, Tigris and Euphrates in Mesopotamia; 3, Yangtze River in China. Question 3. From what sources do we know the life pattern of the Indus Valley people? Answer. Knowledge about the Indus civilization comes from the work of archaeologists who discovered these sites and the buildings, tools, artwork, jewelry, and sculpture found there and studied them in detail. By these finds, we come to know their life pattern. Question 4. The Harappans were city dwellers. Explain how their cities were planned. Answer. Town planning is the unique feature of Indus Valley Civilization. Their town planning proves that they lived a highly civilized and developed life. Indus people were the first to build planned cities with scientific drainage system. The two-story houses had a public water supply. The cities were divided into residential and official areas and are examples of excellent urban planning. Question 5. Explain how the Indus Valley people grew crops. Answer. The Indus Valley people were highly skilled agriculturists. They used irrigation techniques and had large storehouses to store the surplus of crops gathered from the surrounding areas. Question 6. What is the importance of the seals? Answer. Seals were used to make a sealing or positive imprint. Sealings were used in ancient times for trade. They would be made on ceramics or the clay tags used to seal the rope around bundles of goods. Question 7. Give 2 reasons for the picture of the bull found on the seals. Answer. The presence of the bull on the seals tells us that the Indus people were agriculturists, and it was also the sign of one of their gods. Question 8. How did archaeologists discover the uniformity of culture in the Indus Valley Civilization sites? Answer. The archaeologists noted uniformity in Indus Valley culture by examining their urban planning, baked brick houses, elaborate drainage systems, water supply systems, clusters of large non-residential buildings, and new techniques in handicrafts. Question 9. Why do you think did the Indus Valley Civilization become extinct? Answer. Various reasons are given for this decline, such as the drying up of the Indus Basin due to a change in the river course and the decrease in summer monsoons. This led to a slow deforestation and loss of agriculture, and civilization gradually became extinct. 1. Which among the following throws light on Harappan culture? A. Archaeological finds. B. The Harappan script. C. The rock edicts. D. None of the above. Correct answer A. Archaeological finds. 2. The Harappans did not know the use of A. Bronze, B. Gold, C. Iron, D. Silver. Correct answer C. Iron. 3. The great bath of Indus Valley Civilization is found at A. Harappan, B. Mohenjo-daro, C. Harappa, D. Kalibangan. Correct answer Mohenjo-daro. 4. The Harappan civilization is known for its A. Agriculture, B. Overseas trade and commerce, C. Art and painting, D. Drainage system. Correct answer D. Drainage system. 5. Which of the following is the most important feature of the Indus Valley Civilization? A. Burnt brick buildings, B. Gold coins, C. The sound system of administration, D. Art and architecture. Correct answer A. Burnt brick buildings. 6. Along which river Harappa is situated? A. Indus, B. Ravi, C. Satluj, D. Chenab. And the correct answer is B. Ravi. 7. Along which river Mohenjo-daro is situated? A. Indus, B. Ravi, C. Satluj, D. Chenab. Correct answer A. Indus. 8. Which crop is not grown in Harappa and Mohenjo-daro? A. Wheat, B. Barley, C. Peas, D. Rice. Correct answer rice, D. D option. 9. The culture of Harappan was belonging to which age? A. Bronze Age, B. Stone Age, C. The Neolithic era, D. Catholic period. Correct answer is A. Bronze Age. 10. People of Indus Valley civilizations trades with A. Greece, B. Arab, C. Mesopotamia, D. Egypt. Correct answer C. Mesopotamia. 11. How were the Harappan seals manufactured? A. By cutting, B. By molding, C. By punching, D. By casting. Correct answer A. By cutting. 12. What was the unique feature of the Harappan civilization which was unknown to other contemporary civilizations? A. Cotton cloth, B. Palatial houses, C. Satellite seals, D. Carnelian beads. Correct answer A. Cotton cloth. Now open your book page number 15. There is a question. Fill in the blanks. 1. The Indus Valley civilization dates as far back as 5,000 years ago. The Indus Valley Civilization dates as far back as 5,000 years ago. 2. This ancient civilization was discovered by archaeologists in the 1920s. Who discovered? Archaeologists discovered. And in which century and what is the time period? 1920s. 3. The Indus Valley Civilization is also known as the Old and Rich Civilization. 4. The main occupation of the Indus Valley people was, what was the occupation of the Indus Valley people? It was agriculture. So the main occupation of the Indus Valley people was agriculture. 5. The remains of the Indus Valley people tell us that they were not warlike. They were not warlike. Thanks for listening. For new videos, don't forget to subscribe my channel. And if you like my videos, please share and like.